"Are you sure she's just sleeping?" Peregrine whispered. "Not, you know." She was peering at the librarian, whose forehead rested on the desk in front of her. The girl's bowler hat had rolled off, and a pair of pointy green-tipped ears were poking out from underneath her shower of black curls. "What? Dead?" Peregrine's godfather, Daedalus Bloom, picked up the librarian's limp wrist and checked her pulse against his pocket watch. Quite sure. Indeed. Apart from being unconscious, this young lady is in tippity-tip-top health." He tutted at the open bag of jelly beans on the desk. "But sugar is terribly bad for a dryad's digestion. She really should know better." He sighed, then winked at Peregrine. It had, in fact, been Daedalus himself who had planted the jelly beans, planted them and spiked them with enough herbal sedative to knock out a small kangaroo. Peregrine leaned forward and gently placed the librarian's hat back on her head. It felt a very personal thing to see those vibrant, delicate ears. "A dryad?" She let out a low whistle. "Wow." "Wow indeed," Daedalus said, glancing back down at his pocket watch. Peregrine could not stop staring. She fancied herself quite the expert on mythological beings, but despite all her reading, she'd never actually met a real immortal. Apart from Daedalus, and he just looked like your average 70-something-year-old human, albeit one who ate lots of organic broccoli and went to Pilates twice a week. But a dryad? A tree nymph? Well, that was really something. As Peregrine readjusted the librarian's hat, she noticed a golden pin, in the shape of an apple, attached to the dryad's collar. It glittered like a shiny penny in the low lamplight of the library, and she found herself reaching towards it. "What is that?" She whipped her hand back immediately and squeezed her palms tight under her armpits. This was not the behaviour of a library break-in assistant. Rather, this was the behaviour of a magpie. A very grabby magpie. She flushed with embarrassment. Daedalus didn't seem to mind, though. "That apple, my dear, is the insignia of Olympus." He set the dryad's wrist down gently. "Well, the new one. There was some rebranding when Zeus retired a couple of millennia ago. It used to be a lightning bolt, very flash, very macho." He shuddered. "Oh." Peregrine scanned the other items on the librarian's desk. A pot of pencils, a few books, and a framed, faded photograph of 7 laughing girls in what looked like graduation gowns. Removing her hands from her armpits, Peregrine picked up the frame and studied it. The girls in the photograph were almost identical. They had the same hair, the same smiles, but with slight differences. A mole here, a bit of extra height there. "Septuplets," she whispered. She looked closer. There was another girl, shorter and younger than the others, one she hadn't noticed at first, standing a little apart, her hands shoved firmly into her pockets. Peregrine liked her immediately. Daedalus cleared his throat, and Peregrine quickly returned the frame to its proper place. "Sorry," she mumbled. "Now that we are sure our librarian friend is sleeping," his gaze darted to the jelly beans, "let's get this show on the road, shall we?" He rubbed his hands, then spun balletically on his heels. Peregrine shook her head. She was always amazed at how spry her godfather was for somebody who remembered carving the blueprints for Stonehenge. "Voila!" Daedalus pulled back the midnight blue curtain behind the desk with a dramatic swoosh. Or as we say in the cosmic realm, voila! Whoa! Peregrine felt the magic before she saw it. Her arms began to prickle, as if 1,000 spiders were tap-dancing across her skin. She shivered, and her smile grew wider. So this is what magic felt like. It was a sensation she'd only felt snatches of before.